Ladies and gentlemen, I told you this was a bigger deal than a lot of other people are trying to make it. This is the biggest deal. This is the biggest fish to fry, and it has been botched. And many people in the Trump administration are mad about what's happening, especially with Pam Bondi. We got big breaking news about Dan Bongino. Dan is furious. He left the FBI headquarters today, and it's reported that he may not be coming back. I got full detail reports as to why he is mad at Pam Bondi and everything that is happening. But and I'm talking about people that voted for Trump, cannot lose Dan Bongino. This is a sign of bad things to come. You do not want to lose someone like Dan Bongino, who walked away from millions of dollars to be here, literally walked away from millions of dollars to do and serve the public for this to be happening. We need, and I told you guys, Pam Bondi must go. She just must. She botched this whole thing. Who is she covering up for? What's happening? I told you guys the communication between the FBI and the DOJ was not clear on this. And this is what's going on. So it is being reported here, as you can see. Make sure to smash the like button. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Some of you guys are at work. Some of you guys are doing other stuff. So I appreciate you being here. Smash the like button. Thank you so much. So it's reported that Dan Bongino is now considering resigning from the FBI deputy director role after a dispute with AG Pam Bondi over the Epstein files. Multiple outlets report, CNN, Axios, and everybody else is reporting this. Laura Loomer was one of the ones that broke this report. Many people are saying, I do not want to lose Dan Bongino. If this is the case, Bondi must step aside. She must step down. But there's more reports here, ladies and gentlemen. Per Axios, FBI deputy director, Dan Bongino has clashed with AG Pam Bondi over the handling of the Epstein files and took this Friday off of work and may not be coming back. That's going to be devastating. I think that's bad. That man. Deputy AG Todd Blanche has denied the reports of feuding between the FBI and DOJ, but there is a feud going on, and there's no way around this. During the morning meeting, Bongino was confronted about News Nation article that said that he and Patel wanted more information released about Epstein earlier, but were held back. Bongino denied leaking that idea. Boom, boom, boom. There's all this stuff coming out. So again, Laura Loomer, she's always right about all these things, reported this. She reported this. Again, yeah, so Dan Bongino is pissed off, and Dan Bongino walks away. That's not going to be good. That's not going to be good at all. FBI Director Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are livid. They're mad at AG Pam Bondi over the DOJ memo, excuse me, and the lack of transparency from her office regarding the Jeffrey Epstein files. Source tells me that Dan Bongino is taking the day off from his job as Deputy Director of the FBI, and there is now speculation on whether or not he will be returning to his job at the FBI over his disgust with Pam Bondi's lack of transparency and handling of the Epstein files. I told you guys, there's a separation here between the DOJ and the FBI. They are not on the same page here. So again, Pam Bondi on a whole other side of the building, FBI on the other side of the building. One wants the truth and one is running cover up. It's very easy to see what's going on here. Pam Bondi has brought total embarrassment to President Trump, J.D. Vance, Dan Bongino, and Kash Patel. She also has lied to the American people, says Laura Loomer. I'm told Kash and Bongino are furious with Pam Bondi and the blowback she has caused with her lack of transparency. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino should call for Pam Bondi's public resignation today to save themselves and also push for full transparency into the Epstein files. This is an issue that the American people care about deeply. Someone needs to be fired for this. Giving Pam Bondi courtesy to resign is more than what she deserves. Trump should just fire her. That is coming from Laura Loomer. Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Loomer. And then Steve Bannon is going off. Steve Bannon is not happy. Again, Steve Bannon is pissed off. Take a listen. This is in front of Charlie Kirk and Jack Posobiec. Take a listen.
They're laughing at us. The only way we do this is to tell them nothing else happens until we take this on. If we don't take down the deep state in this term, it's over. This is America's last chance. They're laughing at us.
He says this is America's last chance, that people are laughing at us and we must take down the deep state. What's more important than that? What's more important than that? Look, he goes off again. He's going off. At this Turning Point USA event.
The only way this thing, the firestorm, passes.
Hold on. Lost the sound here. Lost the sound. Let's go back.
The only way this thing, the firestorm, passes is if the 5 to 10 to maybe 15% of the Trump movement, the Pepes and the hardcores, many of whom are in this audience, just say, I've had enough of it. The Epstein situation gets down to one basic question. Who governs this country, right? Who governs this country? Is it a shadowy network of intelligence, MI6, Saudi intelligence, the Mossad, CIA, elements of DNI, with other international financiers and corporations and governments? Or do the people of the United States govern? All that information has come out, and the people have to weigh and measure it itself. This is the most populous thing we can do right now.
The most populous thing that we could do is that, ladies and gentlemen. But again, Elon is on the list. Plot twist: child trafficking is global. Yeah, it's just not a good look. I told you guys it's not a good look, and now Dan Bongino is frustrated with this.
Major scoop from Laura Loomer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is massive. Laura Loomer's scoops have been pretty darn good. She has direct access to the White House. She knows what's up. She's been proven right time and time again. And she's saying, ladies and gentlemen, Dan Bongino might quit the FBI. Now, I don't know anything. I'm just some guy sitting here and I saw this tweet. I got some phone calls to make, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, let's go. The simple version. The Epstein story has been botched to such a degree that Dan Bongino is upset over what Pam Bondi has done. And Cash is also upset. They were not consulted on these moves, and now they are pissed. Dan Bongino reported taking the day off, might not even come back to the job. Listen, I have told you this. When Dan Bongino took that job, I said there are very few people that I actually look up to. And that means a lot for me to say because I'm arrogant. Most of my life, I've seen people and said, I can do it better. And then I saw Dan Bongino. He's sharp, he's talented, he's strong, he's a leader, and he gave it all up, a multi-million-dollar enterprise, something I could never, I don't have the strength to do it, so he could be a public servant. And I said, man, that epitomizes what we should strive to be. Very few living people I would say that about, that I look up to them and what they did. Because again, I'm like this headstrong guy who's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm right. I know what's going on. And then, so I see the greatest skateboarders or puck boys or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I can do it. And then I'm like, I look at Dan. I'm like, man, I could never do that. So when all this Epstein stuff happened, of course, I'm like, man, I don't know. Dan Bongino and Cash are as good as it gets. What is going on? Now, he made the argument yesterday. I was talking to Ian on the uncensored portion of the show, and I said, when I was told that Dan Bongino was compromised, I thought to myself, what earthly thing, and I mean that literally, is going to scare Dan Bongino? Maybe, they threatened his family, but I was like, nah, Mike Cernovich was like, no, please, you think the threat, come on, he knows what that is. And so I'm imagining, like, if Dan Bongino genuinely believes there's nothing here, there's no story, there's no client list, it's all, if he genuinely believes it, as he's seen the evidence, then maybe he's just telling the truth. But if he really believes there is something there and he's lying, what would convince him to lie? And I'm like, so I don't believe he's compromised. And that's why I said earthly. I'm like, dude, if Dan Bongino walked in a room and a guy in a suit said, you're going to do as we tell you or else, Dan's not the guy who's going to be like, oh, no, you've got me. Oh, I'm so sorry for a six-figure.
Nah, Dan is the type of guy. Again, we've been watching Dan Bongino for a long time on this channel. We've been watching him, so we know who he is. And if you've been watching him, how we've been watching him on this channel, we've done reaction videos or we've played some of his clips of him talking about this stuff. There's one guy that I trust in this administration. I don't really trust everybody else. It would be him. And obviously, this is the right thing for him to do. I'd walk away too. Listen, if you're telling me that we're running cover for the most evil people in the planet and we are not going to release this stuff, and we're saying that we're done, we're not going to talk about it anymore, I'd walk away. Absolutely, I'd walk away. Dan Bongino walked away from a $4 million a year job to go to a $200,000 a year job. It's a huge difference right there. So there's a lot going on. Should Pam Bondi resign? That's the question. How can things get better? You got Laura Loomer, Trump loyalists, people that take Trump to the heart. Somebody said, I thought she had things on her desk. Why are Democrats so quiet? Because they're not in office. Why are Democrats so quiet? They're not in office. They don't have power. They don't have no control. We do. They're not in office. They don't have control. They don't have power to look at this stuff. They don't have power to lock people up. They're not in office. They're cooked. They have no say in this. Why are you looking for what they got to say? We should be looking for what this administration has to say. This administration has the most power. So again, like, you have the most power. You have every power, like every power in the world to release all this stuff. You should do it. But again, maybe there's only a few of us that think that way. Make sure to smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. This is a huge update, man. Dan Bongino does not come back. Dan Bongino goes and he leaves the FBI. That sucks, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That really is gonna suck. And I've been watching too many people trying to pick a side. There is no side to pick here. You're either on the side of good or you're either on the side of bad. Don't care who's there. Don't care who's not. Don't care who's president. Don't care who's not. All this, oh, you're picking a side. Well, what side is there to pick? Is there even a choice here? Don't you want to know? Like, what is this whole side thing about? Like, what do you mean side? What do you mean picking a side? What? So make sure to smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I love y'all. Have a good day. I will be back later for, obviously, there's going to be many updates on this. We're going to see what it is that we get the update of. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on with ICE, a lot of things going on around the country. So we're going to see exactly what takes place. Also, there's a lot of news about Jasmine Crockett here in Texas. Apparently she's surging, and that is not a good thing for the Democrats. So yeah, there's a lot going on that we got to talk about, as well as this. We're going to be keeping an eye on this. I'll see you guys on the next one.